Thank God it looks like the Red Sox are being proactive here. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. Look, we've been talking about it for the last couple of days, right? It's not exactly a secret that the middle relief options for the Red Sox just simply haven't been getting the job done lately, whether that be because of bad defense behind them, one mistake pitch in the wrong situation, or just simply your pitcher can't figure out what to do to get the job done. Sometimes, honestly, most of the time, a combination between the two. Luckily, the Red Sox look like they're trying to be a bit proactive in solving that as soon as they possibly can, because they made a move today that I think a lot of people are hoping, including myself, ends up being a high-impact move for this Red Sox team. So what's the move that we are talking about? Well, it started after an 80-pitch, 3-inning outing that included 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and of course, we can't forget that 40-plus pitch inning in the first inning that he pitched in from Josh Winckowski. He was then optioned down to AAA baseball. Wink is kind of a weird case, man, because I know every time he's been on the mound, been really nervous about what he's going to look like. I know a lot of you have felt that same way, where it's like, here comes Josh Winckowski with 3 runs. Please, God, just get out of this inning, right? But at the same time, too, I don't know why we think that, right? I can't figure out why that is, because statistically, he's actually been pretty solid over the last couple of years. He hasn't been that 2022 Josh, but he's been not bad. He was an average pitcher last year, and even this year with the outing he just had, he still had a 3.86 ERA with a 3.03 FIP and a 1.12 ERA plus. That's an above average reliever, folks, right? I think the big thing for Wink and the reason he feels so terrifying to watch on the mound when he comes into games was just the fact that he's kind of lost that swing and miss ability, right? He didn't have it as a starter, which, by God, was that a failed experiment. Every single time this dude came in to start baseball games, it was like, oh man, how many runs are we giving up tonight? You remember that one season, was that 21 or 22, where he tried to start games and it was just like, God, dude, please just get us through 4 and into this bullpen. But anyways, he goes to the bullpen in 2022, and he ends up looking really good, and it's because that swing and miss jumped up. Over the last couple of years, he's lost that a bit. This season, it's much lower than it was in 22 by almost 2 strikeouts per 9 inning, and I think that's a big reason why we have these sort of heart attacks when Josh Winckowski's on the mound. He just simply cannot get that swing and miss. He's still getting outs, but obviously when you have less swing and miss, when you have less strikeout potential, funny things happen when balls get put in play, and I think that's a big reason for Josh Winckowski's struggles, even though the statistics look pretty okay. I also think this isn't a Josh Winckowski alone problem, especially when you're talking about the middle relief option for the Boston Red Sox. Strikeouts have been a big issue, right? They haven't had that guy in the middle of this bullpen that comes in here and can blow you away for 3 innings. Weiser does a pretty solid job of it, but even Weiser in certain parts throughout the season has some struggles getting consistent strikeouts. So it's not just Josh, but it's the entire bullpen as a whole, and he's kind of the highlight of it. Either way, he was optioned. This is a long way to say he was optioned after the game to make room for another reliever. The reason Josh Winckowski was optioned down to AAA baseball was to make room for reliever Luis Guerrero. Now, this to me is a really interesting decision. Last year, he was really great at the major league level. Granted, it was a super small sample size, but in 10 innings, he allowed not a single earned run yet in the MLB. He struck out 9 batters, he allowed 6 hits and 2 walks. That feels like the kind of pitcher the Red Sox need in the 6th inning right now, but those same results haven't exactly been showing themselves in AAA this year, because in the same 10-ish inning sample size, he has allowed 6 earned runs on 9 hits, 3 of those have been home runs, 7 strikeouts, and 5 walks. Yeah, a little bit different results, right? Which makes this selection super interesting. What I will say in terms of people are going to be like, oh my God, why'd they pick the worst pitcher in AAA to come up here? I've talked to a couple of people who cover the Worcester Red Sox, and one thing that they've all kind of said is that I wouldn't totally look into the ERA just yet. One, because it is just a 10-game sample size, right? You can't say that this guy's going to be incredible in Major League Baseball off of 10 innings. You can't say he's also going to be terrible off of 10 innings as well. Two, because he's been kind of specifically working on things the Red Sox have specifically asked him to work on in AAA, right? Right now, he's not so much centered around the overall results, the back of the baseball card numbers, and is more so centered around the results from the method, right? Whether that be mechanically, whether that be a pitch grip, whether that be a pitch sequence, whatever it may be, the Red Sox have a specific plan set out for him, and that's what he's been working on. It could be a reason for this high ERA. I'm not excusing it. I'm just trying to give you guys some background. What that specifically is, I have no idea. I would imagine it's something to do with his walk rate, right? That was primarily the reason why he was not on the Major League team to start this year, was the command issues that he had in spring training. This year, it's in minor league baseball. What I will say is, again, small sample size, but he's at a 4.35 walks per nine. Still not great, but also the second lowest walks per nine of his career. So maybe that has something to do with why the Red Sox are calling him up. But let's talk about that for a second, because I'm not entirely convinced that this was the best move the Red Sox could have made. I mean, I do see why I think the Red Sox brought up Luis Guerrero, right? We talk about, hey, the Red Sox haven't really been missing a ton of bats in the middle innings of these games from these relievers. Let's get a guy up here, right, in Luis Guerrero, who's had an over 10 strikeouts per nine for a majority of his minor league career outside of this one season where it's been 10 innings, and Major League Baseball where it was still an 8+ strikeouts per nine, which is still 2 runs higher than Josh Winckowski. So the hope here is that you're bringing up more swing and miss than what you had at the beginning of the season, right? I understand that. I also understand that Luis Guerrero was already on the Red Sox 40-man roster, right? It's not going to take a bunch of maneuvering to get him on the Major League club. All it was optioning Josh Winckowski, who probably couldn't pitch for a few days anyways because he just threw 80 pitches. And I also think a reason for Luis Guerrero being up here is because you can option him again, right? If things don't work out, you don't have to DFA him. You could just option him down to minor league baseball and hold on to that arm. However, if we're talking about true solutions to the Red Sox bullpen, I'm very curious as to why the Red Sox didn't go with Nick Burdi. I would love an explanation as to that, because if you look at Nick Burdi's stats in the same sample size as Luis Guerrero, which is 10 innings, right now he has just 1 earned run. He struck out 16 batters. He's walked 3 and has legit major league experience. This is why, to me, this move is so surprising, because you look at Nick Burdi and you say, that dude's been absolutely killing it. Luis Guerrero's been struggling a little bit. What's the reason? Why aren't we going with a Nick Burdi and going with a Luis Guerrero? Well, I'm trying to figure that out kind of in the moment right now, and my honest answer is I think because of roster movability. Again, you go back to Luis Guerrero being able to be optioned. Nick Burdi, he's not in that camp. If the Red Sox were to, 1, they'd have to add him to the 40-man roster, but 2, add him to this major league team. The only way the Red Sox can move him if things don't work out immediately is to DFA him. And the way he's pitching in AAA right now, I don't think he's going to end up coming back to the Red Sox system, right? I think someone would probably take a chance, especially considering if you look at last season with the Yankees, he still looked like a pretty good pitcher with a sub-2 ERA, right? Combine those two things, this feels like a guy that you would lose pretty immediately if you were to hit the DFA market. So that could probably, in my opinion, be a big reason as to why Nick Burdi isn't up here. The other reason here is because Luis Guerrero, having that option, gives you a lot of flexibility with guys coming back. Specifically, what I'm talking about is Lucas Giolito. Now, the obvious move here is to just DFA Sean Newcomb, right? Yeah, the statistics are pretty solid for Newcomb, but every single time he's on the mound, it feels like he's the most lucky pitcher in Major League Baseball. Eventually, that is going to absolutely break open. And so it feels like the DFA is there, but maybe the Red Sox are thinking, hey, what if we hold on to Newcomb, right? If you end up stacking up these guys with options in the bullpen, 1, it gives you a ton of flexibility, right? Weissert, Bernardino, Luis Guerrero, Zach Kelly, Josh Winckowski, Justin Slayton, who I think is an entirely different subcategory here. But either way, all these guys in the bullpen have options. You can kind of start mixing and matching them a bit, keep guys fresh, keep the bullpen in the best place it could possibly be. And I think that could be a part of it too. It also allows you a couple of different options when Giolito comes back. You won't be forced to DFA Newcomb. I hope you do, but you won't be forced to do it. So I think that's ultimately why the Red Sox went with Luis Guerrero over Nick Burdi. But at the same time too, as a fan, I'm not really in the business of what makes the Red Sox most flexible. I'm in the business of what makes the Red Sox win the most games, right? And to me, it feels like Nick Birdie is that guy. And that's not to say I don't like the idea of bringing Luis Guerrero up. I feel like this is sounding a lot like, hey, I don't want him anywhere near this team, and that's not true. Last year, there were some concerning statistics going on, specifically with his commands. He comes up to Major League Baseball and dials it the hell in, and he looks absolutely fantastic. And I love Luis Guerrero. I think there's a ton of potential there. I like the fact that the Red Sox are going to a guy with swing and miss potential, are going to a guy with high velocity that we don't really have in the middle innings right now, outside of maybe Justin Wilson, but I think Luis Guerrero can get even higher. Maybe Liam Hendricks in there too, but ultimately your hope is that Liam Hendricks ends up in a more high leverage role. I like that idea. I like both of those things. I do like the roster flexibility. I just sit here and wonder if this was the right move. Obviously, we're going to figure that out very, very quickly here. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? What do you think about this move from the Red Sox? Do you like it? Do you not like it? And how do you think it's going to work out? Let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.